from Binize. You can check the link in the description. We've got backup camera, I believe. I thought we did. Yes, we do, right here. I believe this is like your microphone for Bluetooth speaking capabilities, stuff like that. We've got a harness adapter. This is going to connect the radio to the factory connectors so that there is no wiring that needs to be done. Everything's just plug and play. Very nice. And then we've actually got the head unit itself here. Very nice. This is going to fit right into the car. And you can see the screen, the way the shape is, that it's going to fit super nice. Big screen. Look at that. Even I really like the color of the trim too. So we got tools here. Here's the back side of it as well. So it's also very slim profile, which is nice. Not big and bulky. As far as tools goes, we've got just a couple trim tools, and we've got a Phillips screwdriver and also a 10mm socket on an extension. You can use a ratchet. I'm going to use a drill, or use a drill. And then also for our electrical connections on the back, I've got these electrical disconnect pliers by Olsa Tools. Very handy. So let's jump into the car and get started. All right, we're going to start by removing some trim tool, or some trim panels, sorry. Now you could use a trim tool if you want in this case, but we've got these side silver pieces here. This, and this. There are 4 separate pieces. And I like to just grab a hold of the side and just give it a pull. And it sort of comes back this way rather than straight up. Just like that. You can see those clips there, how they're angled, so it comes back this way. So once we get those ones off, then it sort of gives us a little bit of room to get up in there, and that's where your trim tool is going to come in handy. Now, we've had somebody in here before that's done some work, and it looks like they've sort of mangled this here. It was in for a recall a while ago, but not really related. And just take your time with those. Sometimes they're stuck on there. Just like that. All right, now we want to take this top vent piece off. So it just literally pulls out. And we've got one harness connector on there. So you can either just stuff it back like that and leave it there, or unplug it and take it off if you want it out of the road. We've got 2 10mm bolts that secure the radio in place that are located on each side. So we'll take those out. And just be careful not to drop them. I've got these snap-on sockets. They're FDX. They're a little tight tolerance, so they're really nice for not dropping the bolts. They snug onto the bolts very well. So I believe we're just going to try this. I think this section needs to come off as well. I can't quite tell. All right, so we got take 2 more 10mm out. Fell down in there, but no big deal. Okay, now this part's going to be a little not tricky, but you don't get a lot of room with the wiring, so I apologize for any poor views on the video. But we need to disconnect our radio, and there's multiple connectors that are back in there. We just need to push up on the locking tabs and get those out. fingers are cold and I can't feel anything. Okay, that's our antenna. I'm gonna see if I can sneak in here with this. All right, so we do not need to remove this, which is nice. Set that in the back. Now we're ready to go get our head unit and plug it in. All right, this is our antenna for GPS, our microphone for hands-free speaking. We've got a USB plug-in, and then we've also got a video cable and then audio and video ins and outs. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is remove these little yellow clips. They simply just, you try to pry one side off. That might be better if I use this. We need to spread it basically, and then it's gonna pop up. Just like that. You can see the center, what it looks like, little hooks in the center, and then they just simply pop on. Just like that. So transfer all 4 of them, and these brackets that are on the side of your factory radio, you just leave those. They do not go onto here, so they just solely use the pressure clips. Okay, we're just gonna plug our main harness in to all of our connections right now. So we've got, let's see, looks like this one. That may be for something else. Yeah. And all right, we've got this CVBS in 1. Plug that into our backup camera. By the way, we did run the backup camera as well. Completely up to you where you want to run the cabling. There's many options, whether you want to just run it right underneath of like the center console, under the carpet, under the back seat and out the back, or if you're going to go through like the sill panels. Completely up to you. And then this is just a bunch of outs basically. If you got subwoofers and a bunch of other stuff, which we don't have any of that stuff. So these 2 connections in the back, they just stay unplugged. And same with these other 2 connectors, or 3 connectors, sorry. Those also stay unplugged as well. So we have this antenna for our GPS, and I've just right now run it underneath of the dash and have it coming up through so we can plug it in. If you wanted to do a tidier install, this piece goes on here, right? But there is not really any room between the 2 panels. I don't recommend just shoving it in there because you may end up breaking the wiring that's inside of there. So completely up to you. If you wanted to like cut a little relief slit in this panel somehow, or I guess you could even have it like running up around and then stick the trim panel on and see how tight it is. So many different options on how you would like to approach that, but we've got that sort of set up now. So we're going to plug this in right now. And then we've got our radio antenna that plugs into here. And then we've got our microphone.
That's the GPS.
Or sorry, our GPS antenna. that one. And then also, we've got a couple other ports. The two center ones, I believe, are for USB. And then there's also the microphone as well. So. When you're installing these connectors, you see like the locking tab, you're gonna have to like press that in while you push the connector in order for it to go in half decent. And then we've also got our microphone as well. Plug that in. Okay, so what I would do in this case is just run it in behind the dash, up this A-pillar behind the cover, and then just have it come out right here and clip it to my visor, or you could clip it to like the front of the headliner somewhere, just so that it's in front of you. It's going to pick up your voice well, but that's where I would run it. All right, so we don't want a backup camera in this car, but this is how you're going to do it. So this red wire here is your switched input that needs to get wired to this brown wire that says reverse. So basically, in the back of the backup camera, you're gonna have a red wire, a black wire, and then your video cable. The black wire goes to chassis ground, and then the red wire you're going to wire up to your reverse light power feed. So when you put the car into reverse, power then travels to the camera, which powers the camera up, and it also sends power through this red wire that will go into this brown wire, and that tells the screen to then switch to the reverse screen. All right, I'm just gonna go turn it on so you guys can see the quality of the image, and I think it looks really good, so.
A lot of spoiler. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so that's how you would wire up the reverse camera. We're just gonna go ahead and install the radio unit now into the dash. Just make sure all your cabling is not in the way. Perfect, we're securely seated in place, and then we can go ahead and install this upper vent portion back in, followed by our trim tools, or trim panels, keep calling them trim tools. Just make sure that all your tabs are lined up in the holes before you go ahead and press it in. Perfect, and that's what the install looks like. We'll go ahead and turn the key on.